A screencast really quick. This is a design for just a home page. You'll notice just by looking kind of at the invisible lines here that the main body is um, limited to a 980 pixel width, but this map here extrudes at 980 width, so it comes outside of it. The only way I was able to accomplish this, I'm sure there are better ways to do it, but was to not put an image, just an absolute placed image with a higher Z index and everything else. It was to create its own container. It was to create its own container, as you can see here, and put this image as a background image so that I could manipulate its exact placement. It is absolutely placed. If you look at it, here's all the CSS to it. The top from the left, the actual dimensions of the div itself, and you can see that there's an image in the background. The reason I needed to do that, and again, I'm sure other people can figure out better ways to do this, is because I still had to create all these CSS neighborhoods, and obviously those face into the body. So my dilemma here is really that this looks great when it's wide, and it's not supposed to be adaptive or responsive. And I don't know, maybe it doesn't look great to some people, but the point I'm trying to make is that when it's wide, you can see everything and it works. But when I reduce the browser and I scroll over, there's this really ugly white space there. Instead of just, I guess, which would kind of be weird anyways, it would just show the rest of the map. But I don't care, right? And I just think that's better than having this big white space there. And this is to the spec of the design. So my question is, since this is a container, and I can show the other containers here. For example, this is the home container right here, and it is 100% wide. So obviously when I expand it past the limits of that map container, the whole background stays blue, everything works fine. But the minute I start to kind of like encroach or reduce rather the width of the browser, and I scroll over, this thing is just like, hanging out there like a sore thumb. It just looks bad. Everything else is constrained to 980. Like here's the main. I could scroll down to the footer, and the footer also is just all within the same dimensions. But this container here, I'm trying to figure out how to keep the background blue, even though this container is stretching out, and I can't figure out how to do that. And I don't know the best solution to do that. Maybe it wouldn't be to use top left, but rather just use the background positioning. Maybe that would solve it. I don't know, because I mean the top left is just positioning the actual container. Yeah, so I'm trying to figure this out, and hopefully someone can kind of look at it. I have the code pasted on CodePen. Sorry I had to include all the CSS. It's just the only way I could have the page actually render. I'm sure I could have cut out a lot of it. And I'll try to, just so that it's not excessive the amount of CSS someone that would be graciously willing to help me would have to go through. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If anyone kind of has encountered a design that had an element that was going to exceed the width of the main body, like in this case, how do they get around this when the browser is reduced and scrolling? How do they keep the main container that's above it with the background color consistently? Because I couldn't. Also, another thing is to make maybe the background color blue, but as you can see, it's like a two-tone design, so the bottom is white. So I couldn't really make the whole background blue either. So I'm just trying to figure out a way that I could do this that hopefully wouldn't be too much of a crazy workaround. So if anyone can kind of put their 2 cents in on this problem, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.